Long time no talk. We're going to flow tonight a little bit on just a couple of things of zooming in, zooming out. A lot of things, questions that people have been asking me lately, my lens and perspective on what's going on in multiple different realities at the same time, and really giving you, these tools to come out better. So it's been a while. I've learned a lot in the last couple of months of how this whole social media game works and how the censorship and all that takes place. So I'm definitely excited to share some of this stuff tonight. So first thing I do want to discuss is reminding you guys, if you're watching this, right, to use discernment, to use your own lens, take what resonates. It's some stuff might go over your head. Some stuff I share might be like, what is this guy talking about? Maybe you think it sounds crazy, and that's fine. I still have the same thoughts to this day on certain things in my life and my reality. So it's okay to wonder that. It's okay to question that. I always encourage it. People ask me what's one of the greatest things you can do is ask more questions in your life. Ask more questions. Why is he saying that? How can I do this? Where can I find that? Because every time you ask a question, there's always going to be an answer. It's the divine connection, so to speak. And that's kind of how our reality is based, quantum physics in a way. Without going down that wormhole right away, it's just reality really is defined by the questions we put to it. So the more questions we ask ourselves, the more questions we ask our own brain, our right brain, the Christ consciousness, God within us, same as outside of us, the more direction that we can have. So as you're watching this, maybe some things resonate, some things do. Share it to some people. I always like to share information that can be easily digestible, easily duplicatable in a way you can embody it, you can share it with other people, you can teach it to other people. And I was blessed to grow up with a father that had been my coach my whole life. And his coaching and mentorship, he was a teacher and coach for over 30 years. And that wore off on me, completely wore off on me. And today, now I take those principles and I'm able to then utilize it, things off the court. Basketball was a part of my life for 25 years. And now I'm using it off the court to help people build businesses, help people awaken to certain things, self-development, finances, fitness, detox, nutrition, hydration, spirituality, learning about the body, learning about what's going on in our external reality. All of these things that my father would teach me how to cross over, how to dribble, but he also taught me all the other things off the court, which I still embody today with integrity, discipline, commitment, accountability. So forever grateful for him. He passed away back in October. So really a lot of things you guys hear and see in me is a byproduct of him. And I love him dearly. And up the connection a little bit. Amazing. So what I wanted to discuss, like I said, use your own discernment. Maybe just learn a few things. That's my whole point of this whole Come Out Better brand is, yes, it's my initials, but it's literally just a mindset. It's a way of living. It's a way of everything you do. There's something that can teach you something. There's something that's giving you an answer if you ask that right question, and you truly can come out better in each moment because the path forward, but still it's always in front of us. The now, it's here, yet it's very short before it's in the past. So we've been on this thing for just about 5 minutes and it's already in the past. So that's all a memory. Everything you've heard me say in the last 5 minutes is just stored in your database. And that's the power of time and realizing time really doesn't exist. So looking at yourself before we zoom out. So when I talk about zooming in, for those, maybe this is first time you're hearing this stuff, a zoom in complex or a zoom in concept is when you're looking at your current reality, right? So what you see right here. An example of that would be just things that you can control every single day. And these were things that I did not really fully understand how to control. I felt that a lot of things in my life were out of control. So what I do today is conscious decisions, focusing on my words, my affirmations, the things that I choose, really cutting back and letting go of the words try, kinda, maybe, hopefully. One of the things you can do is upgrade your language right now. And especially, I'll talk different dimensions now. By upgrading your language, you can then assist people who are beginning to wake up or are looking at information and they just can't break it down because they're not at that frequency. They're just not in that place mentally. They haven't maybe activated that part of that brain to receive that info to unlock something, right? Because everything activates an answer in our DNA. Communicate effectively to other people and using empowering words and language, asking questions instead of arguing and debating. And so that's a huge thing that you can focus on as you zoom in. Another thing you can zoom into is the lifestyle habits. I'm talking about nutrition, hydration. I made a post today on hydration and how it's so important to know the difference of water out there. It can be the safest form of medicine throughout your life, or the slow over time. Over time is where it gets a little fishy. So keep learning about that. Another thing that you can control is where your attention goes throughout the day, being mindful, taking deep breaths, taking your shoes off when you can. We were bombarded with a lot of blue light and EMFs. Even right now, normally I'd be wearing my blue light glasses. You zoom out a little bit and share you some quantum lenses on what I think, feel, and I know to be true in my lens is going on. And that's going to be the zoom out lens about what's really happening around the world. Right, so we'll talk about that in a second. And when you zoom in on your life, another thing I want to touch on, so important, that helped me tremendously when I was waking up and I was taking. Let's see, we can get better service here. Is asking how to questions, because a lot of people talk about connecting to your spirituality, your chakras, and all this stuff. I just go how do I do that? I don't. Well, just close your eyes. Okay, then what? I don't know, just be, sometimes people need that direction, right? So it's always important that when you can ask those how questions, you're going to get now answers. How questions leads to now answers. And so we tend to force change instead of asking questions. And that's why I always talk about question everything. Some of you think it's for the Q lens, the quantum lens. It's just reality. Reality in itself, quantum reality, is based off the questions we put to it. So if we're learning new information, we're in an age of Aquarius, age of information, we're learning new awareness, knowledge that's coming in. And now it's like, okay, I got it. I'm curious now. It's like, do you guys know when you start waking up to things, you kind of get curious, you start asking questions. Is this really happening? Is that really true? How did that start? Is that real? Is that fake? It's a natural byproduct because your old self paradigm might have been crumbling, and your real self, the clean supercomputer that you are, instead of the computer that's been hijacked by the virus, can now realize what is. And so speaking of the mind, and that's where a lot of people get stuck. Is in the mind. And they focus on things that they can't control, and it becomes like a snowball effect. And next thing you know, it's hard to keep track of life, and you get very, very anxious. So when you look at another reason, what I do want to do is talk about the quantum lens, because when you do ask those questions, you get more answers, and you start seeing more. You start really seeing more, feeling more, hearing more. And that's really, really powerful when you become aware of what's going on in the world. So let's zoom out a little bit, because I always like to show this. Check this filter out. This is zooming out. So here we are here. You guys are watching me right now in your living room. And now who's watching you is the question. And then who's watching you? And then who's there, right? It is you, and then you were there. So that's what I always talk about, the zoom out lens. The zoom out lens, and we'll go again. It's just you watching there. Isn't it wild? And then we're back here. So that's where we're here. So now we're going to go there, or we're going to take you on a little journey there, and we're going to connect some dots that maybe some think is not real, maybe some think is fake, conspiracy, whatever word you want to use is fine. It's okay, because at the end of the day, check out where you are, maybe in your bedroom, your car, your bathroom, your driver's seat, whatever it is, that's your reality. You're not probably in Washington, D.C. or in China or at these places where you see all this real stuff happening in the movie, so to speak. So at the end of the day, it is that zoom out lens. That's how I explain it to people. It's this. One more time. This is the Q lens. So for someone to say it's a psyop, of course it is. Look at this. This is a psychological operation. It's just realizing that there's more to it than we think. So that's the zoom out lens. And that's the lens I usually go and tap into. And I can just, out of meditation, out of asking my right brain, visualization, it just appears, and then it just becomes, and there's news articles. That's not on mainstream media. So with all that said, by zooming out, okay, we talked a little about zooming in, things you can control. That's so important. I'll keep sharing more and more of that as we keep coming out better. When you start waking up to things, you start questioning things. When you start questioning things, you start looking places really, really far away, yet affect your everyday life. Okay, it's the dance right there. So really far away, let's talk about like food production, water, the water treatment plants, all of these things. And then yet at your house, you get the tap water, and then you get food in the fridge. So that's the zoom in. zoom out, where did all that stuff, now you start finding, Bill Gates, now you start finding these companies with fluoride, now you start seeing the web. That's the quantum lens, that's the zoom out lens, the Q lens, because not many of us have the ability or choose to look outside of what our current reality is. And when we look outside of it, we tend to look outside of it being anxious, in fear, in scarcity. So of course, everything is worst case scenario. It's a psyop. It's a fake. It's not real. This is this. All bad. There's darkness. We're done for. If you're following people, this is just a tip, and all they push is fear and no solutions, no awareness, no simple calls to actions that people can do to help each other, their community, their everyday life. Just be mindful and aware. That's all I'm going to say to that. Just be mindful and aware of those people, because what is it that they're doing in their lifestyle? Giving back. Who's to say? It's hard to judge. Just be mindful and be aware of that, right? So when you zoom out and you see so many things from the banking world, the healthcare world, the injection world, the microchip world, the crypto world, the banking world, the education system, you've got the oil and gas, you've got the environment and pollution, you've got the war, military industrial complex, poverty, disease. There are a lot of pieces of a puzzle. Each one of those pieces of a puzzle has been distorted. It's been hijacked and it's been flipped. This is not a conspiracy. You can look this up. Look at 1910 Flexen Report. That's real information. It's when they ridiculed holistic healthcare and they introduced allopathic. That was it. We went from God, nature, plants to petroleum, synthetic, and rubber. And yet, no one bats an eye. It's getting to a point now where it's so irrefutable because we have the gift of information where we can tap into in our phones, we can tap into just by listening and paying attention. And when we can tap into this, we can then share it with people, right? So it's going to get to a point, maybe not going down the wormhole of like the Obamas and all that stuff, because that's a whole nother wormhole. Focus on things that impact people in their everyday life. Who drinks water? Everyone does. Who eats food? Everyone does. Some of us skip talking about those things, right? And what are important and zooming out there. And we try to go down the crazy ones that, make you think this person is this. So we skip steps in an awakening. It's almost like awakening. We can't wake somebody up. They wake themselves up. They become aware of things. We can just leave breadcrumbs and see if they're open to hearing new information. That's what we can do, right? So I learned that with people in my life that I pushed away because I kept trying to change things by force instead of questions. So powerful. And so now what you've had transpire, let's look at a zoom out lens. Since January, we can identify that, well, a lot has happened. And you're seeing a completely shift in realities. You're going to have a run reality that is based off of a fake presidency, right, with the Biden administration and all that, which articles and mainstream media is now saying, how do we even know he's a real president? It's just collapsing on its own. Okay, so that's distracting a whole wave of millions of people. There's a whole nother story happening, and that's in the quantum financial world, a financial reset happening with banking and all this stuff. That's going on. Then there's a whole other world over here. Then you've got this whole other world with the vaccinations and the microchips and the masks and all that stuff and the fear. And then you got a whole nother world. You got a whole nother world of people waking up, doing their research. They're changing their diet. They're this. Then you got a whole nother world of people who've known this for 20 years and are already 20 years ahead. So there are so many pieces, so many parts. We just tend to ping pong on each one really quickly without even knowing we're getting caught, because this whole time, all we've been doing is this. When you guys have been hearing me talk, you've been seeing it in your head. Or unless you're cooking or driving or something. That's the power of the mind. The power of the mind can leave the now and be now at the same time. I know that kind of sounds like a paradox, but it is powerful, and it is really powerful. So in my opinion, there's amazing things happening for those that are questioning things, it's part of the divine plan. It's not going to be just a cakewalk. You don't end all of this stuff in a matter of days or years. This takes quite some time to really flip from dark to light. We're really, like, if you truly believe, whether you're spiritual, whether you're psychic, whether you're a health coach, and you feel like things are going to get worse, my thing to you is, cool, how can we make them better? If you think things are going to get better, going forward from here on in the world, in your neighborhood? My question is, how can you continue to keep doing the things that keep it going better? That's it. Those are the two questions. All we got to do is ask, and then we work together, because most of the time we all project our own thoughts and visions, what we think is going to happen, instead of asking what others think is going to happen, and being open-minded and hearing them where they're at in their life. Questions, you guys, it puts out flames, it dissolves conflict, it takes away any kind of resistance energetically. They're just really, really, really powerful. So be mindful of those who are problem projecting. There's tons of it right now, whether it's on mainstream media, whether it's on even the quote unquote new age, the light movement, right? All that stuff. There's so many things that have been hijacked. It's so easy to infiltrate. Instead of just directly attack, they're just going to come into these kind of changes and paradigm shifts, and they're going to disguise themselves a wolf in sheep's clothing and start sending misleading information. You guys see how it's an information warfare? We are in a world war. It's just with information, with memes and misinformation and news, fake science, fake news, fake media. We've been in this war longer than all the world wars. It's been a war for quite some time. So we're in a war right now, a war of fake information, fake news, fake history, a lot of things. And if you don't feel that is true, go read some books, go do your own research. And after that, and that's your choice, that's your choice. Just don't bash people for their beliefs. I just don't think that gets anybody anywhere except deeper down the opposite direction we want to go. So if someone has a completely opposite perspective of you, ask them why. What makes you think that? How do you see it like that? Oh, explain to me. I'd love to hear your perspective. Just let people talk and share. Even if they say, well, the vaccines are amazing and, my kids always get fluoride at the dentist. How confident or how stable inside of you can you just hold space and listen? Because you know what they're going to ask you? After they say all the things maybe you disagree with, and you actually listen without judgment and just listen to understand and stay silent and hear people, they're going to ask you something. What? I don't know. But they're going to ask you something. They're going to ask you, hey, you were telling me about that essential oil the other day. I'm kind of curious. Like, oh, all people want to do is be heard. They want to be heard. Now, easily, I get it. You might be like, well, I'm tired of hearing the same old stuff and this and fear and this. Well, why are you getting so tired? You see, you just blamed or you just projected out something outside of you is causing your fatigue. So for me, that's a signal, bring it back. That's a signal, bring it back to me. And that's where self-development really comes into play. That's where then asking yourself these how questions, right? When you say somebody is making you upset, angry, frustrated, because I've been through it many times, calling you crazy and weird, then that's where the space where the people make those connections. Try it out one time. It's pretty amazing. So let's get back to zooming out. Let's pick another thing that's happening. Here's my prediction. Quantum financial system, dollar is dead. So I would start researching and looking at silver and gold, cryptocurrencies, XRP. Not a financial advisor, but if all you have is money, like the dollar bill in your account, I would just start learning. I wouldn't say ASAP, but I would say rather quickly start learning of the wealth of money and what's happening to our dollar right now. It's been happening for quite some time. So if you only have dollars in your checking and savings and that's it and nothing else, just really start learning financial literacy. There's so many places to learn now. Information is endless. We're going to a quantum financial system. The dollar will not survive at the rate we're going. The economy won't. The stock market won't. The whole world, it's not sustainable. It's crystal clear. And, that's why one of the greatest things to happen was like Mr. T, Orange Man, to be president for that world in reality is because he was a businessman. And when USA Inc. was incorporated quite some time ago, it became a business. So what better way to end a business and start a new one than a businessman instead of a corrupt puppet? So take what you want. That's my lens on it. You probably could say, oh, Trump's this, but this person's that. That's just what I've researched, and I'm going to stand on my truth because I've seen plenty. And if I were to sit with you for hours and days and weeks and months and show you what I've seen and connected it all, I bet you everything I got that you'd agree. Everything I got. Now, there's no way to prove all that. That's just how I roll. So I'm just so convicted in my truth. It's a no-brainer for me. So we're going through a quantum financial reset. When you reset the world, that's where Space Force comes into play. If you don't know what that is, look into that. That's where you're going to have Tesla tech come into play. Some of you are like, oh, this is a fantasy. Is it? What's a fantasy? See, the thing is, how far have you been able to let yourself zoom out? Boom. How far have you allowed yourself to go? Because at the end of the day, you're living in a fantasy. Whatever's right in front of you is a fantasy in itself. It's just how far do you want to let your mind go? And then you're back here. That's what I always say to people. Because if you realize it's a possibility, and more people are, it's going to become a reality. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Everything is a fantasy, exactly. So word magic is powerful. Going through a financial reset. There will be something called Nasara. So much to learn about that. I would say another thing, the next thing, Space Force. They're really taking out tons of different places around the world, have certain places where there's information. Ley lines. If you guys don't know what ley lines are, check out ley lines. Pretty amazing. We have ley lines. We have meridian lines. The things that I wish I knew when I was younger, I always say, like these ley lines, like all of these things, what the world has been riddled with, if you really zoom out again, zoom out bigger and bigger, is that the ley lines on the planet have been distorted and different things have been put on top of them. So the energy we harness from Mother Earth on these ley lines, right, that comes up from the ground, that we feel and that we absorb, that we can tap into, the energy field, it's been distorted. It's been distorted because they put slaughterhouses on these ley lines. They put child trafficking centers on these ley lines. They put pharmaceuticals on these ley lines. They put entertainment studios where they do all kinds of stuff. And so they distort the grid on Earth. And if the Earth's grid is distorted and we are in symbiosis with the Earth, we're going to have dysregulation in ourselves, circadian rhythm, melatonin, hormone cycle, period, moon cycle, all of those things might be a little bit off, just slightly. Just like when the ocean temperature is raised just slightly, some things change. Right? Just that slight shift in energetic grid on planet Earth, it's exactly, again, part of the plan. We've been attacked as a species, as a human beings, whatever you want to call it. We've been attacked and under hostage and slavery and submission and mind control and fear and anxiety for thousands of years. Wild. We're coming out of it though. That's the beautiful part. And we're here and we get to share with people we're here. So zooming out some more, I would say other things are going to happen. Scary about the whole, injection thing. Gosh, especially for those that have to get these things, especially those that have to because of their job or income, it's tough. And that's why I share so much of owning your own home-based business, owning your own business online, where you don't have to go to a job and have to wear a mask or anything you have to do or get requirements to do so. There are options, you guys. That's why I share it so much. There's so many people in our community that have left that world to come to an opportunity where you can share a health product with people. It's just a tool. I talk about solutions. This is what I do. I understand and research problems in this world, and then I identify, create, manifest, and build solutions. ClickFunnels, Wake Community, calls, content, Telegram, emails, webinars, newsletters, tax information, coaching, mentorship, training calls, health product, detox coaching. Those are my solutions. So when I do share problems, right? When I do say something's wrong with our water, something's in our food, there's pesticides, Monsanto and all that, there's enough accounts doing that. I'm just like, what is the solution? What is the solution? And that's truly what this is all about. For me, it's identifying the problem, reacting to it, identifying a solution. Now, I know people who say, oh, you have no problems. You're perfect. You're always perfect. Yes, absolutely. And at the same time, your gas still goes to empty. At the same time, you run out of food in the fridge. At the same time, rent comes every month. And most people live in that world to survive. I just don't know what some worlds people live in. So maybe not for you, but I look bigger for others. That's that vision, is whatever you are doing right now, it's not going to be you waking up 100 people yourself. It's not going to be you doing that. And if you've been trying to and you're prying people's eyes open, all three eyes open, if you're trying to do it more than they are, you're just going to push them farther away. It's about you continuing to unlearn and relearn It's about you continuing to open your mind up to new potential possibilities. I'm not saying attachments. I am saying possibilities. There's a difference between anything and everything. Okay? Anything and everything. Anything can be 2, 4, 6, 8. That's any number that's even. But it's not every number. So it can't be everything. Okay? So there's so many different facets of truth, yet at the same time, it's all connected. It's all connected. And that's what's going to help people is when you embody these things and you learn how to change different things in your life, people are going to watch and they're going to get curious. And that's what I've noticed with people in our community, people I work with, me, my friends, family, really, really powerful. And I truly think the best days are ahead, you know, and for those that are in tough situations, community is so important. Get with the community, find people local that, you know, enjoy the things that you enjoy doing, meet people, open conversations. That's why community is everything right now. There's so many splits happening in consciousness, so many splits. And at the end of the day, your story is different than someone else's. And it's the truth that finds them, and they find by asking the right questions, by being silent, by keeping an open eye, that's going to help them wake up. And then they're going to come to you for guidance. So as long as you keep filling your cup up, keep shining, keep stepping and showing up for yourself, whatever you do in your life, whatever it is, whether it's business building, fitness, teaching, coaching, babysitter, mom, aunt, blogger, art studio, that's it. Those are your gifts. And you'll find ways. Ask yourself, how can I leverage this to be monetized? How can I create this to make it duplicatable? How can I create something to impact other people? And you'll get answers. Try it. A question leads to an answer. It's always how I've been saying it for years, question everything. You know, ask the how. Who, what, where, when, why. That's what we hear in school. I learned this about the left brain. It's like, my partner would always tell me this, like, you always like the how. And she always loved the why. She's very right brain. I'm all left brain. So I need a little bit more strategy. Like, how do I go there? Okay, this way, that way. How do I do that? So the more you can learn how and then teach how, you're going to get people asking. And if you spell how backwards, it's whoa. I think it's the real whoa. We just added an A. I don't know why. But yeah, whoa. Who, what, where, when, why. Look at the word who, WHO, World Health Organization, WHO, who are you? Well, you just moved the letters, it's how. How are you? It's like, well, you say that every day, how are you? How do you live? How do you survive? How do you thrive? How do you start a business? Ask yourself, you'll get the answer. Try it out. So zooming in, control what you can, zooming out, you've got, in my lens, the last Q lens, the quantum lens, the Q drops, everything is happening, you guys. If you are not, jump on my Telegram channel. I follow about 10 accounts that I've been following for 3 years. And there's been a lot of information, a lot of channels, news streams that have gone out, disappeared, jumped ship. And these 10 accounts are still here with me. I just kind of seem like a little guy sometimes in this digital war because I do share a lot of information that in January got me quote unquote shadowed. And a lot of you guys I don't think could find me. And that was like for a month and a half. Telegram channels in my bio, in my link tree, the first one. And for a month I didn't see anything in anybody. I know a lot of accounts disappeared. But here we are. We're back full force and I connect a lot of dots. Making my own content. Again, I'm pretty much almost done on my website. It's been taking some time to get all my stuff, my book list, my podcasts, my Shopifys, my content list, my bios, my link trees, putting it all together for you guys. So you guys will have resources to help people come out better, not just yourself, because that's what it's all about, the gift that keeps on giving. So the last thing I guess to take away is there's a lot of amazing things happening. Children being rescued. A lot of trafficking being taken down, gold being lifted and shared around the world, governments taking their power back. You're going to see a lot of misinformation every single day. Anything on mainstream media, it's fake. It's not real. That's up to you to decide. I would not give it any time of your energy and day because there's systems, businesses, people, life, goals, dreams, visions that are ready to be lifted and fulfilled. And now's the time. Because the matrix is clear. It's broken and it's breaking. You can manifest quicker. You can tap into your energy quicker. Start making lifestyle changes, health changes that really empowers you, build your energy in your system, gives you a little calm nervous system, staying grounded, and you're going to start uncovering life. It's the greatest thing ever. It really, really is. And fear, anxiety, it's there. It's there, and it's for us to feel. And then we feel it, and then we say, how can I avoid, eliminate, and reduce fear for the rest of my life? And you get the answer. And you'll get the answer. Because did you guys know this? And I learned this in Patty Doon. I share her stuff a lot. Prayer, the root word of it, Greek root word, or Latin, I forget which one, means to ask a question. Go figure. How many times do I, in the past, pray to God and I would just ask, help me? That's not a question. I've been asking questions lately. You guys, it's magic. So when you look at the word prayer, it's been twisted a little bit to think that we pray to something outside, where all you gotta do is ask a question inside, and the magic unfolds. Amazing. So take that. And what else? There's a lot of amazing stuff. And I think the biggest thing is there's a shift, like I said, from those waking up that haven't awakened up, that have been awake in streams of awareness and consciousness, and the middle ground people who are just waking up right now are in that phase that people who woke up years ago or decades ago were in before, and now the new people that are starting to see things and getting red pilled a little bit are going, wait a minute, what is this? So it's like each and every single one of you guys watching on this, wherever you're watching this replay, you woke up for a divine reason, and when you did, because there's going to be another wave coming in and you're going to help. Whether you're like, well, I don't want to help people, I don't have time for it. You'd be surprised. Time will appear for you. If that is, if you truly feel that you can help people and you think it's possible, you will. And maybe perhaps you don't. And you really shut yourself out to it. And that's fine. And that's fine. You're going to see just things being birthed around you. And it's part of you who's going to want to be a part of it. Because we're all coming back to the return to origin. Literally, we're returning back to origin. So really, really powerful. I think it's an amazing time for people to awaken to different energies within them, their masculine and feminine energy. I think creativity wants to be expressed. I definitely think there's a lot of toxicity still to heal, both for men and male and females. And I think that's totally fine. I think that's amazing. I think that gives us something we can work on together. I think that is something that we can help each other with. So remember, I always talk about your mess is someone's message. And sometimes right now, a lot of people are in a mess and they think it's just the worst part of their life. Remind them. It's like, hey, you're going through a mess. It inspired me today because you keep showing up. Like those things, we realize, like my father would always tell me, everyone's a coach. Everyone's a mentor. Everyone's a teacher. Everyone's a student. Everyone's everything. It's just kind of what role you want to put yourself in, and doing it from a space of integrity and from your heart, not just ego, control, and force. It's not what we do, it's how we do it. It's not what we do, it's how we do it. And if you can take that into business, if you take that into workforce, you take that into your relationships, you're going to find yourself in a good spot in life. And that's what I've noticed here. And to expect myself where I'm at 31 years old, feeling like I'm 20 again, my body physically, just the amount of healing I've done physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, you really start to see life for what it is. The more clear you are internally, the more clear you are externally. That's what I feel. The more stressed out you are on that cellular level, the more stress you're going to see in this reality. And I think it's just such a divine reflection that if you're seeing fear and anxiety, there may be something you're afraid of within yourself. And usually the thing you're afraid of is probably your greatest strength. And that's the craziest part. We're running from our greatest strengths. We have no idea they're even there because society has pulled us away and we've been chasing on a treadmill instead of just stepping off, turning around and seeing what we already got. And I'll say kind of one of the last things here too is right now, a lot of us might be seeking gold. We might be looking for like that solution, looking for that answer in life, that magic blueprint, that golden business partner, builder, that dream partner. And we're seeking and we're calling it in, that ideal vacation, that home. My little flip for you, try this out, is to do, rather than seek for it, remove things in life that isn't it or wouldn't be a part of the journey to get there. Because if you continue to seek it, you'll continue to chase it. and life wasn't programmed to chase, because if you're technically chasing something, that means you're putting time to something. It's always in front of you, not here now. Okay, so that's quantum physics. So you chase something, right? It's just going to keep going. And that chase, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, maybe start getting closer, but if you're chasing it to begin with, it's going to keep going. So if you realize it's here, let's just remove everything that wouldn't get me to that space, aimlessly spending, not becoming aware of taxes, spending on things that you can invest in, limiting beliefs and credit card debts and how to boost, just little things like that. That gold it just appears. You're like, oh shit, I didn't even have to go anywhere. I just removed everything that isn't gold. And that might be one of the greatest things I've learned recently, just the gold mine, because it's a gold mine we have. We just tend to look for gold instead of remove everything that isn't, and we realize we are the gold standard. And so it is. So that's definitely a little principle you can take. I do plan on doing more of these lives. I just want to do these little quick hitters. I've been so busy helping so many people waking up. My DMs are flooded. That's why I'm working on my Telegram to get people on there. Highly recommend you guys. I drop so much more deeper stuff that I use a filter on these now, on what I share on these lives, just for the sake of keeping my content visible. I don't want to disappear just to get a certain point out or to make my point clear. I'm working a little bit smarter, not harder. So definitely check out my Telegram on my bio. I'll be having a newsletter come out soon. I'm just upgraded my whole office, so I'm turning this place into like a whole recording studio. Really excited about that. Again, about my podcast, I've been talking about it. I'm going to keep talking about it because it's manifesting. I just like to get everything structured, and I'm excited. So I'm excited, logo, and just pouring everything back that I know for you guys. That's it. That's all I want to do. So I pour into people, whether it's about making abundance, building community, starting a brand, health and wellness, hydration, fitness, being a personal trainer, sports, athletics, business mindset, subconscious mind, quantum physics. Life is so fun. And the more skills, the more reading, the more things you could just soak up and absorb. That's it. I get it when people say knowledge is wealth, and intellect is just manifestation, and also the ability to quiet the mind and think less. Knowledge, intellect, all that stuff is not about thinking more, it's about thinking less. And that is what I'll end that on. So sit on that, sleep on that, zoom out, just like I'm doing again. Feel more, think less. And so it is. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Appreciate all the love. We'll keep flowing. Zoom out. Zoom out. And so it is.